Hello, and welcome to the Old Man Orange podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunigan.
And I'm Marley Silverbrand.
And we didn't fuck it up! Oh my god! Thanks for viewing, folks. That's all. Goodbye.
Goodbye. I'll see you. I'll see you later.
Ryan and whoever the guest is always seem to step over each other. You know, Ryan always wants to say, in introducing, and the guest always wants to say, my name!
Okay, why don't you just pack it up? That's as good as it's gonna get today.
Okay, so we're not going to talk about Thor?
We will get to Thor. Thor.
You know what? I saw this movie, though, recently that was it was actually kind of amazing. It has stuff in it, though, that's very, very questionable, but other than that, though, it's just a very interesting movie. It's from 1980. It's called The Cannibal Holocaust. Have you ever heard of this one?
I've heard the name, yeah.
It's kind of one of those movies. It's an Italian movie.
Of course.
And it literally is one of those there's movies before it, but one of those it's like the found footage movie, but a found footage movie more done right. Where the movie starts off, there's like these kind of like hippie-ish, like, you know, we're going out to the world, man. We're going to fucking, like, discover it and make a documentary of it, man. It's just show people what's going on. Like, those kind of people.
Yeah.
And they go to South America, and they actually have real, like, pygmy people, like, in this movie. Apparently these people didn't get paid or something like that. Like, and had shitty working conditions, a bunch of Italian people, like, cracking the whip on the...
Had to take it there.
But no, so at first you're like... And then it was like, oh, these people, they didn't make it back. So they send this professor, he's like, I'm going to go find out what happened to these guys or whatever. And in the beginning of the movie, it's kind of like, you're almost meant to believe, like, oh, these people just got fucking eaten. These are, like, savages out there or whatnot. And then he ends up being these people, and it's like, well, these people, these natives are real friendly, you know. They're offering things, they're nice, they're showing him all kinds of shit, you know. And then he finds, like, the footage, and it's just like, they just have this big stockpile. It's like, well, they thought that was the evil that brought these white people here. So they just, like, made, like, this big, like, memorial thing to, like, the footage. Mm-hmm. There's even a part, too, in the beginning, because he's got these kind of, like, they're not Australian kind of hunter guys, but these guys are just like, we'll take you out here and go follow these natives. All you need is your gun and your medicine. Fuck everything else.
And safari shorts! I notice a lot of times those guys always have very inappropriately short safari shorts. Did you notice that?
Yeah, they mostly always do.
Like Muldoon had it
in
Jurassic Park. I want to say the I Wish I Was Muldoon guy from Lost World had it. You know.
Yeah. No, they always have that. Well, these guys don't. These guys have pants on, I think.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Well, they get to a point though, and there's like this native guy, and he's doing this like ritual. He's like pulling this chick that's tied up, or whatever, and you're just like, what the fuck's going on? And the guy, and the professor goes like, we gotta fucking do something. He's like, no. We sit here and watch. He'll lead us to their people. And this guy he's doing this like ritual and stuff, and he takes this like rock and he just starts fucking the chick with the rock and just like brutally.
What the fuck?
Like, no, don't fucking do that. And they literally wait till this whole thing's done, and then the guy's like, okay, now we can shoot him. It's just like,
oh my god.
Yeah, you gotta have some fun on this trip, right?
Best free show you ever got, right?
Didn't have to pay a nickel.
That's better than watching Last Fucking Joey, ain't
it? Really, we just got the map right here. It says where they live. I mean,
oh my god.
You see the donkey show, right? That was more fucked up, wasn't it?
Chick getting fucked with a rock.
Oh god, that sounds pretty fucked up. That sounds very 80s Italian.
Well, this movie
like
is
Dario,
this is like
it sounds very Dario Argento right there.
No, it's not because he's more like that kind of like I guess Alfred Hitchcock. Yeah,
but he still has that like.
But they're all buddies though. It's whenever you get to like those smaller countries, it seems like everybody knows everybody kind of thing.
But it seems that with Dario Argento, he has he has a lot of Hitchcock and stuff, but it always has that weird supernatural / just some weird
like you're my daughter.
Thing.
You're gonna get raped in multiple scenes in this movie.
Yeah. There's that part in which one is it?
I can't remember what that one was. It was that '90s one.
Where his daughter's basically getting raped for like a 20-minute period of that movie, getting tied down.
And
I think the guy pulls out like a hot like wire hanger and starts to like scratch her with it at some point or some shit.
Yeah.
So
what the fuck?
It's his own daughter.
I can't remember what that one was called.
Then in Phenomena, he must hate his fucking kids. Because in Phenomena, one of his opens up with one of his kids getting decapitated. So
he really loves his kids.
In a very wrong kind of way.
Well, whatever. The whole point is the professor gets his footage and he takes it back, to New York or wherever they go to. And he decides, he's like, okay, well, we're going to put this together. I mean, these people died. Might as well at least do something with this footage. Don't just let it go. And as they're watching it, they start to discover that it's like, no. These savages didn't just fucking eat. These white people just, like, are horrible. These are just hippies that go around and just literally torture people.
So they're the bad guys, the hippies.
They are. And this movie has, like, the thing where, like, since it's that found footage thing and they want you to really make it feel like it's real, They do this one thing in the movie though that really kind of makes it very questionable. They kill 6 animals on screen.
Yeah.
And I mean, they sit there and show it for a while. I mean, they said in the special videos, like, well, we get, the crew ate the animals and stuff, no different than going fucking hunting.
What kind of animals were they? Chickens or?
No, they kill like a tortoise, like a giant one. And like literally, they're chopping his fucking shell off and blowing him up. And the thing is like fucking. I mean, it's really
twitching and their organs and shit.
Yeah, and it's the organs all falling off. I mean, they kill a tarantula. They kill a monkey. They kill. They're just kind of like some type of South American rat. I can't think of what it is. Yeah, something like a lemur, but it's not a lemur.
Mongoose.
Yeah, but not a mongoose. Something like that, but not.
Okay.
And lemur, not a lemur. Mongoose, not a mongoose.
But looks similar. I mean, but like it's just like you see it like on. You just watching some guy just fucking like take one and just carve through it while it's still alive.
You saying these animals? I don't want to go off on a tangent real quick, but you saying these animals just reminds me. I feel so fucking stupid. Like in Fallout, he against like radiated mole rats.
Yeah.
I found out. I feel so fucking stupid. I found out like 2 weeks ago, mole rats are fucking real, and they look just like that.
You didn't know those were real?
I didn't know those things were fucking real.
Really?
I just thought it was like a fusion of a mole and a rat that was just big or something. I had no idea those things were
no, yeah.
real.
Yeah, those are just real. They're just like
had to kill those when I was 5.
Yeah.
we
had one. We called it Pocket.
Well,
better than any dog, I tell you that much.
But the whole point is like when they show like those real like I guess it's like okay, it's not really justified because that's like the one thing it's like I don't know. I mean like they did eat it. It is no different than hunting, but the thing is
I don't want to see it.
You were shooting it for entertainment when it really gets down to it. And even Lloyd Kaufman kind of said he's like, well, the one thing though about it though is like if you
it's a trauma film.
No, it's not. But it's just one of those movies that influenced a lot of like. It's got rated like in the top 10 best horror movies of all time and things like that. It's got a lot of high awards and rankings and stuff.
Yeah.
And the one thing about it's like unlike other found footage movies, this one actually does feel really realistic. You can't see like any flaw in it like in a lot of especially modern ones where it's like, well, when you put CG in it, you've already lost the found footage moment of this.
Well, it's kind of weird because Blair Witch is the one that kind of like it didn't attempt to bring found footage back. But that was like, there's just that movie, maybe a few other ones that went under the radar. But of all the movies to bring it back, it was Cloverfield. Like they do like, because, they have like something so simple like Blair Witch. Like, we need to do like a fucking Godzilla ripoff in order to make this thing seem obtainable to people, Yeah.
Well, whatever, going back to what Lloyd Kaufman said though, he's like, the one thing though is like, by showing real death in a movie, and they even actually show scenes of like this, like they take footage from like this massacre in like Africa or something like that, like really showing people getting killed. He's like, if you throw some real footage in there and then you mix it later on with like fake stuff, it makes you believe the fake stuff's real too. And it's like, I guess like that doesn't really justify it, but I see where the idea goes around it and stuff like that. And I guess once again, it's one of those ones you kind of watch it here, you go like, oh, that's horrible, but then you think it's like, well, people go out and hunt, and you go to the store and you buy meat, what do you think happened there? The only difference is, no, there's not like a film crew around it.
I guess so, but at the same time, I just don't like. I like turtles. I don't want to see a turtle die.
Oh yeah, it's really because you watch it.
It's like,
oh my, those are the parts you watch. It's just like
even that Bear Gibbs show. It's like, look, it's a poisonous spider. Let's fucking eat it.
Bear Gibbs.
Bear Gibbs?
Bear Grylls?
Bear Grylls. Yeah, Bear Grylls. Look, there's a fucking rat. Bites his head off.
Guy.
Yeah.
I call him Piss Hat Guy.
Piss Hat Guy. Oh, that's right. Didn't he piss on his own hat?
Yeah, and then he wore it as a... Yeah.
Well, there's even a part, though, where, because then you start getting the footage back, and they're sitting in there, and the one professor guy, he's, like, the good guy in the movie. He's kind of going, like, he's looking over and stuff, and there's these people here like, this is going to be great, we'll just show this on TV, we'll make tons of money off it, fuck those people that died. And, like, there's a part, too, where they take the natives and stuff. Oh, a pig fucking dies, and the guy's, like, the douchebag, like, hippie, like, documentary guys, he's, like, fucking kicking this pig, and then he shoots at point-blank range, and it's real. And so then he takes the natives, and they're just like, you know what, let's just fucking round these natives up inside their little huts, and we're gonna burn it.
Oh, jeez.
So they light this on fire, and they got their guns around the natives so they can't go anywhere. They burn down their fucking house, and then, like, the guy and the chick's like, let's just go fuck in there while these guys go sit in the sand and wonder what the fuck just happened.
Jesus
And apparently
Christ.
the Italians, once again, they're like, well, they kind of tortured these natives. They left them in there for longer than they should have been inside this burning hut.
Oh
Jesus.
So
now
most films I feel like I have a pretty high tolerance, but that one.
This director literally got arrested at his premiere. Because they literally thought, they're like, this guy just fucking brought a snuff film here. Because it looks, I mean, it's 1980 and it looks, you could believe, I mean, like, I know it's a movie, and obviously since this fucking has, like, its 20th anniversary special edition, you know it's not fucking real.
The most successful snuff film in the world, 20th edition.
You know, but it does have these scenes. There's this one part that he got arrested for, because there's a part where it shows, like, this native chick, and she's like impaled on a pole, and it's going through her ass all the way through her mouth.
Oh god!
And people they're like, that's fucking real. What the fuck's wrong with this guy? Even Sergio Leone called this guy up after the movie. He's like, this movie's good. But you're gonna get a lot of fucking shit falling after it. You don't know what you're gonna get yourself into.
This is the end of your career.
Apparently, the guy went on doing much more things. And
Oh.
this movie made a lot of money and everything. Even though it's banned in like 50 countries, and there's still like 32 countries or something that still have this movie banned. You can't watch it whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it's mainly due, I think, more than anything else by this point is to the animal killings. I think that's really what bothers people more than anything else. Because once you kind of go, it's a movie. It's like, well, the rest of it's like whatever. Who cares how violent the movie is as long as that's fake? But once you start doing real killing.
Yeah.
It sounds like this guy is the reason why all filmmakers have to put no animals were harmed in the making of this movie.
If this was an American movie, they would never be able to get away with it. I think it's only because it's an Italian movie that like sort of like whatever. And in Italy, it's just.
I'm surprised allowed over here in America.
Oh, apparently, as I was reading on it, America never banned it once. Out of all the countries, that was one of the countries. Whatever.
I never see it, but 1984 is banned here, which there seems to be more radical films than that. I would assume.
Well, this movie's more, this live fucking killings and executions in it. Because there's a part where it's like, it's like these guys, this is their last documentary they made, and it shows all these people just being like, murdered and shot, just like right on screen. Apparently, it's all real. That stuff too. It comes from like stock footage of some war in the 70s of some sort, and just people getting massacred and all that stuff. And then, like, later on goes like, well, you know what happened, though? Is these filmmakers are actually, they provoked all this stuff. To make their documentary, they made people really kill people. Really? It wasn't actual real stuff. I mean, the footage is real, but in the movie, story-wise, it's like they provoked this. And the same with this. So what they do is they go do all this horrible shit, and then it's like, well, we'll just go back and edit out all the stuff we're in, doing all this, and...
Oh, wow. Jesus Christ.
But as a filmmaking movie, though, it is one of those ones. It is a very interesting piece. It's one of those ones. If you're not into film, I don't know how a normal person would be able to get into this, though. I think, but if you as a filmmaker, you do watch it, and you're like, it's pretty darn impressive.
I'm kind of just weird to watch just because I just hate watching animals fucking die.
Well, so,
I didn't know. A turtle dies.
All I know is it was on my Netflix thing was recommended for me.
No,
because of this and this.
You watch some pretty fucked up shit when Netflix is just like, maybe you should watch this from now on.
A lot of 80s horror films and Batman, they give you this.
So, like, I was looking, I was like, Cannibal Holocaust, and I was like, it's got fucking, almost 5 stars. And I read it, and I was like, one of the most controversial movies ever, blah, 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 blah. I was like, well, that sounds cool. Check it out. See what it's like. But really, it's one of those ones, like, the rest of it, it's like, okay, yeah, the rest of the nowadays, it's like, yeah, there's enough violence that's like that. It's just those animal parts. You're just kind of like, oh my God, Jesus Christ.
Well, that was Dark Spencer.
But the movie's even got this, like, kind of, like, moral message at the very end, where the guy kind of walks out and he says something like, he's like, but who are the real cannibals here? Kind of mean, like, are these savages that you think that are cannibals? Or is it the people that live in the cities the real cannibals of the world?
Just ingesting it and enjoying it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and just the fact that, like, it's like, they don't destroy anything. They don't build shit that just, like, pollutes the earth. They just live regularly and,
Yeah. That's a good point right there at the end of it all. But
so it's got this kind of good thing. But then, it's got these scenes throughout it where, a woman's impaled. There's actually a part where this chick's getting, like, an abortion.
Now, is that the part where the chick's impaled? Is that, like, stock footage, or is that actual...
No, it's like, well, they're like... they explained it. They're like, she was sitting on, like, a bicycle seat, and she had a pole sticking out here, and then a pole, like, below. So, and it just, at the right angle, it just looked perfect.
Oh, okay.
But it does look... You look at it, it's like, oh, that could almost be, for all we know. With the rest of it, because once again, once you show some real killings, it's kind of like...
Is that real, or is that not?
Well, yeah, because then you start questioning what is real and what's not. I mean, there's even a part 2 where this chick's tied up and she's getting, like, this abortion. They, like, take the kid and, like, chuck it into, like, the mud and, like, bury it.
Oh, man.
But I don't know. It's
I got
interesting.
nothing. I'm curious about it, but I got
It's
nothing.
very interesting. If Netflix recommends something, sometimes I have to check it out.
Yeah.
Netflix told me to.
Netflix made me do it, Mom. It's like, what do you want?
I told you to stop hanging out with Netflix, Billy. I told you to stop.
Uncle
hanging out.
Netflix is a horrible person.
He's a drunk. He always gets drunk at Thanksgiving.
Whenever there's a family union or a wedding, he always gets drunk and starts playing.
I know
Friends
he's a
and-
fucking billionaire, but still, you gotta stop hanging around that Uncle Netflix.
Every time there's karaoke, he always gets drunk and always starts singing, I have friends in low places, you know, he just embarrasses himself and the whole family. Come on.
Speaking of Netflix, did you hear about the 4 new TV series that they signed on with Marvel?
No, I haven't heard any of that.
I don't think they would.
Now, can you actually get the DVD copies of those, or do you have to stream it?
It's just to stream it.
Yeah, see, that's probably why I
They
don't
could
hear
probably, I
about
think
it. I'm
eventually...
part of the other club. I'm part of, like, the DVD club. It's a separate place.
Won't Netflix eventually put this shit on DVD or Blu-ray?
I'm not sure, but it goes underneath like their original series, like House of Cards and.
I thought House of Cards is still going, because all their shows are fairly recent, so I just assume eventually they would come to DVD or Blu-ray or
They've
something.
all been out for about a
House of
year.
Cards is in Redbox right now, actually.
So that means there's a DVD of it then.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably.
So probably just like any other show after a season, they'll put it on
Yeah.
DVD. We're still not that point yet where there's like they just say fuck DVD and Blu-ray.
Yeah,
I just want to know
probably
how
next
long.
year, I think.
I feel in 10 years though they'll start trying to fade. You'll have Blu-rays, but I feel DVDs will be phased out by that point.
Yeah.
If you don't have a movie, all right, but at least give me a show. I want Iron Fist and Luke Cage. I want that show. I want like a buddy action comedy of those two. I want that show already. Come on.
Yeah.
They said like, as Terry Crews said like, I really want to be a Marvel guy. So it's like I'll be the Thing. It's like look, we don't want you as the Thing. I'll be Nick Cage. Like, oh, Terry Crews would be perfect for Nick Cage. He's like, no, we don't plan for that character. Like, you guys are doing Guardians of the Galaxy. You're not doing Nick Cage. What the fuck?
Well, Guardians of the Galaxy seems like it's like that's what people are gonna accept.
I mean,
I think it's a cool idea because it's different,
yeah.
but it is very like as far
Guardians of the Galaxy is that animated one, right?
Well, no,
It's
it's,
like-
it's not anime. Well, there'll probably be CG stuff in it, but it's like
Oh,
It's
I
a-
know what you're talking about.
it's
I
a
thought-
Marvel-
it is literally like all the really weird Marvel characters like
It's-
in one story.
it's like
Oh,
they're
okay.
like, I guess, I mean, I never read it, and I didn't even know what it was till the movie announcement came out. Then I looked it up real quickly, but best way I can think to describe it is like, for comic book fans, I guess the Marvel version of Legion from DC.
Oh,
The Legion of superheroes.
Well,
Only
except
not
the
as
Legion's
big.
all like just a bunch of teenagers and realistic looking characters. We're
But
like
like a team of like 20 or so, and like there's not
Guardians of the Galaxy has all those like literally just these fucking weird like like as cartoony as you can get type characters.
They have like I want to say there's one or two normalish looking ones.
Yeah,
but
there's
they
a
got,
couple
They got a raccoon.
They got like that rocket raccoon or whatever, and they got
yeah.
I think that's a Bradley Cooper or something like
He's
that.
voicing it, yeah.
Yeah.
Which first I heard like John C. Benjamin was going to play him for a while. That's the guy that voices Archer.
oh that's
Oh
cool.
yeah.
That would have been cool if he was voicing him, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, it seems like there's so many like of those Guardians movies. Like there's Rise of the Guardians, and I thought you guys were talking about Legend of the
Oh,
Guardians,
no,
Owls of
no.
Gaul. And then I'm like, oh okay, Galaxy of the Garden.
Yeah, I mean we'll get to that, but I mean that right there just seems like of all the things you guys could, I mean I think it's cool they're doing the lesser known stuff because look at Iron Man. I said, well if it worked for Iron Man, it could work for this thing right
Well, yeah,
here.
because Iron Man really, like, for the longest time, Iron Man was just that kind of character. I mean, you would give, like, Iron Man to a kid and be like, Iron Man, you fucking cheaped out. Where the fuck is Thor, Captain America? Iron Man, fucking third-rate superhero.
I don't even think a kid would say Thor. I think a kid would say Spider-Man or
Well,
something
yeah.
like
Well,
that.
I was
But
just
yeah.
thinking of it Avengers-wise.
Oh, Avenger-wise, yeah, because you never
Because
saw...
when I was a kid, I was like, Iron Man was the Avenger, but it's kind of like the guy that you, like, the last guy you wanted to play as. It's like, I'd rather be, you know, Hawkeye or Vision or something else.
now
Now
you
everyone wants to be Robert Downey Jr., which is
Now
seems
nobody knows
ironic.
who the fuck Vision is anymore. Vision used to be such a big character.
Spider-Man's losing his power because you look over, there's like that Lego Marvel game coming out, like Lego Marvel Superheroes. And on the cover,
Wait,
it's
what?
like yeah, it's Lego Marvel Superheroes. On the
Okay.
cover, it's like the main Avengers, like front and center, like, you know, like Thor, Captain America, Iron Man. Iron Man's front and center. And then Black Widow even. And then behind them...
Spider-Man's like, he's like swinging the
He's
background.
swinging in the background, like in the same exact spot as I think it's Silver Surfer. It's like I'm sharing a spot with Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Cut me some fucking.
I mean, like,
slack.
Is that just because Sony owns Spider-Man or something like that. And that's
No,
why
I don't know.
Spider-Man
I think
wasn't
it's
in it.
literally due to like, because probably how they figure this out, they probably go get a bunch of they get like 100 kids in a school and say who you like the most, and they all write it down Marvel character wise, and
at the same time,
But am I right about the whole thing about Spider-Man not being in the Avengers because Sony still owns
that's due to movie licensing, but there's more than just movie licensing.
But it wouldn't surprise me in the least bit because I mean that game's being produced by WB Games, which I guess that's because they own Lego, but then Disney owns Marvel.
It's so weird how these
they're
things can
using-
like flop around.
But
just like when you, I mean, like the one of the weird things when you see Skywalker Sound on fucking Star Trek.
Yeah.
There's all these weird things of life nowadays.
but there
Or
are
even Skywalker sound on a Disney movie. And like
Nowadays.
yeah, so
now it makes sense to this day and age.
But Star Trek was, I always just think a lot.
The thing that's weird about that, though, I think that they're almost trying like the Disney properties. I might be wrong here, because like Disney can still come out with more Spider-Man stuff, I believe. But I think they're almost trying to make Spider-Man intentionally not as popular, not putting out as much Spider-Man
So that
stuff.
the movie doesn't make.
The movie doesn't do as good. I think they have it out there. They're still doing it. You know, like Spider-Man's still in the game, but he's not front and center. He's not front and center like the rest of the Avengers are.
And I also think too, I think once again it's due to the fact I just don't think Spider-Man's nearly as popular with kids as he was for 40 fucking years.
Yeah.
Because when I was, you never saw a Marvel thing without Spider-Man being front and center, or he was the main image on the, anything Marvel. He was always, there. He was Mr. Marvel in a sense.
I guess if they're
which
ever
is
doing,
weird because he's a nerd and it seems like nerd is mainstream now.
That's kind of, I guess you got a point there, because the thing is, his appeal was he was the underdog. It's like, this
And
is
it's
the
funny because if you think about like all the four Avengers, then them are, it's like one guy's just a rich alcoholic, the other guy's
god.
one guy's a god who has a hard time relating.
One's an angry scientist.
Yeah. And then the fourth's a guy from the past who's like your grandpa pretty much.
The one's a Russian slut.
They're really like they're all like the least relatable
She
characters
fucks
to like a
everybody.
kid.
Black Widow fucks nearly
Oh,
everybody in the
yeah.
Marvel universe. But no, but like
Then there's Sam Jackson.
Sam Jackson, Nick Fury, everyone. That's like we wish we could be Sam Jackson, Nick Fury. We wish we could be that badass. You know?
we know we're not, but
Iron Man talks a big game of Avengers, but he looks over at like Sam Jackson, like I wish I could be that guy. He's making jokes about the eye patch. But he's like, man, I wish I could be Sam Jackson.
I want an eye patch.
But no, something I was gonna say. But like, I think because the whole appeal of Spider-Man was like he was the underdog. He's the reader. It was like the first time they had like someone that was like the age range of the reader put into those shoes. But now it's like now it's like who gives a fuck? Because they've done that so much. It's like we want to be the rich guy. You want to be the alcoholic. You want to be the god that goes out. Because really, when Thor gets down to it, he's the kind of guy who's like, I'm here to kill, fucking drink. That's like the worst.
it's one of those, sometimes it's like this, and like the Avengers, like it's
going
like,
by
I know
old
it's like
stuff.
it's a Disney movie now, so it's like they can't capitalize really on who Thor really is. And that's one of those, you really are getting the toned down Thor. I mean, let's go back to like the original Norse gods. It's like it's really Thor would be there and he'd just be fucking every chick. He wouldn't have a girlfriend. Why would he have a girlfriend? He'd be like drinking and fucking and fighting.
He would be really.
Realistically,
Zack Snyder needs to direct a Thor movie.
Thor, that's what he always would do. He was always a guy, no matter what, there was a competition, he had to fucking win. He was that guy. He was always number one. So he would out-eat people, he would out-drink people, he would out-fuck people. Him and his dad would get together and fucking start tag teaming. How many chicks you boned tonight, Dad? 136.
Oh man, someday I'll reach that point. Be careful now, son. That's how I lost my eye.
Careful now, son. You're still young. You'll get there someday. Oh man.
Oh fuck.
I haven't been on this podcast in a while.
We
so,
missed you. We missed you. Yeah, it's been a while since we had any guests.
We don't even have a guest for a long time. It's just
I
like
think we started scaring everybody off.
nobody watched the movies we watched, and
Yeah.
Well, I did turn into a brony, so
oh yeah,
That's
maybe
the hat.
maybe that's why you guys didn't have me on because
That might
I don't really give
Yeah.
a shit really
Yeah.
either way.
it's a good show. Like people should watch it. It's like the first couple episodes are obviously the show's obviously meant for little girls, like about little magical ponies. But like you can obviously tell like the writers of like the show are like huge nerds because they have like references thrown in there. Like they have Big Lebowski Like they reference Big Lebowski in like an episode.
So
like
it's
they
kind of
have
like Johnny Bravo, but without a guy getting laid.
Yeah.
Trying to get
He
laid.
never actually even got laid when you think
No,
about
he
it.
really never does.
Yeah, I don't know.
About ponies getting laid.
Yeah, and also just like I like looking at like the fucked up like animations like all the like the fans make of like
Fucked up animations.
yeah, there's like fucked up.
You gotta reiterate because the internet's a very dark, seedy place.
No,
so you gotta.
well, there's a lot of dark CD animations of ponies just like
Yeah, we don't gotta
Yeah.
go into that. But.
yeah, but I don't know. It's kind of a weird fandom and. Like I don't really consider myself like a complete like brony, but there's like lots of cool like bronies out there, and they're all nice, and I don't know.
I can see it. You know, it's one of those things. We don't choose to be bronies. We're born this way, kind of thing.
Yeah.
To me, what a brony
I'm
seems
just
like,
fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you.
it's men that become like sugar daddies.
What? Become sugar?
Please reiterate.
I picture that because what I picture is like it's these guys that are all like real nice and friendly, but they have a hard time getting dates, so they just like take all this money that they've earned and they just kind of like you're like, hey, you know, you're like My Little Pony, you know, we go have dinner, I'll pay.
I don't know.
I've never seen the show. I can't judge it. But
I think the show is really cool just because like I'm getting into animation, like watching like a lot of animated like cartoons, and like the animation in the show is like actually really good.
Is it?
Just because I think like when the animators got handed the show, they're almost just like they're like, really, Hasbro, you gave us this. It's like, oh, I guess we'll do our best so we can put it in a resume. But the animation just kind of blows me away. But it's just like,
I'll say this. Look, it might be a good show. I just don't plan on watching it because, see, and don't take me, this is me, I'm not judging you or anybody else that likes it. If you like it, that's totally fine. But see what you're doing right here, right now, I'm not even attacking you, but you feel the need to defend it in some way, which is fine. There's already enough in my life, I feel like I gotta defend. I think I come up with an answer for most of it. It's like, all right, why didn't you finish college? Why do you still work the same job you worked for a while? Why have you taken so long to get this animation stuff done? And I feel like I can give an answer for all those reasons. But saying I like ponies, that's just one more thing that stack I don't need.
Well, it's
It's not. It's not.
I feel like I could say I like Powerpuff Girls because there's like fighting in
well,
it.
it's pretty much just like that. Like I think, like I used to watch Powerpuff Girls when like in elementary school, and I think that show's awesome because it has a lot of nerdy references. And I think this show is about as close as you can get to like a Powerpuff Girls show.
Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, I don't know.
You kept saying powder.
Oh yeah, but whatever.
Was it
But
Tony Montana?
Yeah, like you're a real big
Power-
fan. Can't even fucking remember the title of the show.
I
Let's
don't-
talk about the Tony Montana spinoff.
yeah, the Tony.
Bubbles just doing like a giant pile of coke, like
Yeah.
this town is a pussy waiting to be fucked.
I don't know, like the animation's really good and shit like that, and then Tara Strong voices like the main.
See, I
pony.
like Tara Strong a lot. I don't know
See-
if I like her enough to go watch that show, though.
The thing is, like, I like Tara Strong too, and when I go back and watch like Batman: Brave and the Bold, she voices Harley Quinn. Like, why am I
You know,
telling
she's
you that?
Batgirl
Why am
in
I?
the old Batman show.
Well, when I go back and watch those shows, it's kind of like weirds me out a little bit, just because it's like, I don't know, it's just like you voice a magical pony on My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, and like the show's like
I guess to me, because I think of her
Is
as
that the full
Batgirl.
name of the show? Is that the full name of the show or something?
Yeah.
I cut you off. You were saying.
Well, I said, like to me, like I think of her as mainly Batgirl more than anything else, because that's like the first thing I always remember her as.
Yeah.
And then as it fades out, it's like, oh yeah, she was Bubbles and other things.
She did like 2 voices in that Drawn Together show, so she's done some adult stuff too. But yeah,
Yeah.
it is one of those. I don't know. I mean, I don't have anything against anybody who likes the show, and if they like it, right on. I'm not trying to shit on it. It's just like I said. That's just automatically we live in this age. It's not accepted yet. We live in this age where where people feel the need to defend it, and I already got too much in my life. I think
Well,
I gotta
I just-
explain.
I feel
I
like
just
if
look
you,
at it
you
like
get
a-
pushed in the same category as like, so you must like brats too.
see.
You got Barbie dolls in your house too?
A while ago, like I was kind of in your guys' camp of like, oh fuck, My Little Pony, fucking.
I'm not even saying
bags
fuck,
or
I'm not
something
even-
like that.
I feel like fuck it. It's just I don't know.
It's more I can kind of see why people like it now, just because real life sucks and it's shitty. So why
It
not?
can be good.
Like I don't know, and
Can't be good if you're like a billionaire.
but I'm just saying, just like real life can be shitty. So like, why not watch a show where it's just like everything's happy and like and shit like that.
I got Batman for that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
Batman punches his problems away.
I don't know, but
There's nothing Batman can't fix with his fist.
Yeah.
Plus, a lot of the music is really good. It's like some of the I don't know. I'm not trying to say it's like for people like us. It's obviously meant like its target audience is for little girls, but it's like let's give something to the parents back there, just like that have seen Big Lebowski and shit like that.
Well, I'm not sure if I told you this.
Not,
but
why did I say shit like that? But you know what I mean.
I know what you meant. Yeah, but like for instance, like Spencer mentioned Tara Strong earlier. The way we both found out about that is that Kevin Smith has a podcast called Fat Man on Batman, and he interviews Tara Strong because she was voiced Batgirl, like we said earlier, and she goes over her whole career, and that's how we found out about the whole Brony thing. And she defended it, and I understand it. It's kind of one of those things like I understand why. It's just one of those things I just don't really care. You know what I mean? To try it out.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure that I'll give the show credit for being kind of like, look, this is something for every reason should be horrible, but let's do instead of just saying, let's do what's safe. Let's try our best to make a good, smart, funny show, which everyone tells me it is. Which I'll take their word for it.
Yeah,
So. There's enough cartoons out there for me to watch.
Yeah, but there's this really good PBS Ideas like video like on YouTube talking about like bronies and like the culture, and it's actually really informative just because like they're talking about how bronies are changing like the definition of masculinity, because who's saying that like that boys should watch like G.I. Joe or something like that.
From G.I. Joe, man! Fuck!
But it's just saying that just like...
Sorry, I had Mountain Dew today.
I don't know. It's a really informative video. Like maybe you guys could put it in the description or something like that. Or, I don't know. But it's talking about how you can like switch it around. It doesn't really mean anything. And they even talk about like back in like the 1800s, like pink was actually a boy's color or something like that, just because it was like it showed that they're wealthy or something.
Doesn't mean anything to get your ass kicked on the playground.
Well, yeah.
That guy who watched G.I. Joe isn't gonna fucking listen to your PBS speech.
I don't know.
No, I see what you're saying. Like, I mean, look, maybe one day I'll check the show out, but for right now,
I feel like there's gonna become there's gonna be this like literal kind of like a next generation Fight Club, not necessarily Fight Club, but like this kind of movie, like men are all becoming weak now. We gotta like change this, sort of like in the '90s, like everybody's becoming so materialized and all this stuff. We don't have any reason to live.
I thought you were gonna go like it's like Brony Club. First rule about Brony Club is you do not talk about Brony Club. Second rule of Brony Club.
No, not like that. More like the people looking at it. Like there's all these bronies out there. There's all these men who just sit around and talk about their feelings. There's no war in the world, and there's no place for us.
Fifth rule of Brony Club. If it's your first night, you gotta bro down.
There's just gonna be all these like G.I. Joe kids. It's like we have nowhere left to go in the world. We were left behind.
Batman's in that camp too, I guess.
Yeah,
Batman's in the shadows. There's
those guys like, we grew up watching fucking X-Men and Spider-Man and G.I. Joe. Like, where is our place? Where do we go? All we know what to do is fight for justice.
We can't talk about our feelings.
We can't love and talk. That's not what Batman would do.
He punches his problems. He fucking punches his fucking problems.
It's okay, Billy. It's okay.
Meanwhile, Robin is sitting in the Brony Club and just like...
There's world peace. Everyone gets along.
There's no more Marines left. There's no more fucking...
The terrorist stops.
Even terrorists want bronies. Everybody is. There's nothing left.
This is a very weird... It's like fucking 1984. You do not bro down. You become like...
It's just this world where like there's like
this
the
brony
majority of people are all like very friendly and peaceful and just like watch rainbows and stuff like that. And there's just a small society of people left that are just like, I need to fight. I need to live. I need to feel.
But then they take those people though. They put a chip in their head. Their eyes get fucking huge like ponies do.
Mm-hmm. They hook them up Clockwork Orange style, and they just play all this, like, lovable, like, hippie stuff, and rainbows, and magic, and fun.
It's not killing, it's not fucking, I can't watch it!
I don't know. I just think some of the most
They
interesting.
sneak a copy of Cannibal Holocaust in.
This
I
will
think,
change the world.
like I said, like I think some of the most interesting animations that come from the show are the fan animations because the fans like turn like this really happy like show into just like there's one animation of just like the ponies just like have like create like a fight club and just like beat the shit out of each other and just like a bloody mess and shit like that. It's just funny that they turn like this like
Fucking beat me to it, man.
I don't know.
They beat me to it.
Oh, I don't know. I just think it's funny when you see like when you see shit like that and stuff like that. I don't know.
I can see like I said, I can see the appeal of it. It's just one of those things. And
I
don't
like
really
it.
watch-
I like it from internet memes too, just because there's like a pony in there that has the troll face on it. And
What's
shit.
the troll face?
The troll face is just like the thing that you'd see on 4chan, and like when someone
it
make
the
a
thing-
stupid comment and just like.
Is it the face where it's kind of like the eyes are
Yeah.
kinda squinting, the teeth showing,
Yeah,
it looks kind of
exactly.
deformed. Okay.
Yeah, and then like the Big Lebowski like reference and shit like that.
I always
but-
see like a
I feel
picture.
like that's the only reference.
Well,
I always see like a picture of like a dude. Like I've seen T-shirts of it. If I go to FYE or something, like a dude
well,
pony.
so I got this. So
Yeah, I see like a dude pony, and I see like a Doctor Who pony.
yeah, Doctor Hooves.
Yeah.
That was named by the fans just because
Oh, okay.
it's like a guy that has a monocle, so name him Doctor Hooves.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
Doctor Who.
Okay, I
I
mean,
mean, I feel like this is a little too much for me. I
Yeah.
think I still come from the regular Earth world. Where
I don't like all this love and peace.
yeah, it's something that I just know for a fact I will never like be able to get into. It's just
Yeah.
one of those ones. It's too far and
It's
Yeah.
someone else's camp.
yeah, it is really like I know I would never get along in that kind of world.
I'm not saying fuck it. I don't.
Yeah, I'm not
really-
saying fuck. It's like those people they can live in their own society away from us, but.
Can you just do something for me? Can you guys wear these stars and go to these gated communities?
Here, a train will take you to them. You're taking away our jobs,
Just go to
our way of
Ponyville.
life.
Just go to Ponyville.
You're just all way too fucking nice and like easy to work with.
By the way, give us all your books. We're gonna burn them. Not our books, your books.
Since we're back on the dark, scary topics,
Scribble
Ain't
knots.
we can jump into Scribble Knots. I was gonna jump.
Oh.
Marley, I want to talk about this. Marley and I saw this film a little bit ago. It's a film fest happened last weekend. And
By
went
the
to
way,
that-
well, it's probably like the greatest thing that happened to our town. So
I don't know about that. I've never been to it, but I don't know.
yeah,
it's like probably one of the cooler things to happen in our town. I
Yeah.
definitely say. It's just like like I guess little festivals and whatnot. But pretty much they primarily play a lot of shorts, and there's too many shorts. There's a lot of really good movies that played there, and there's too many to say them all. But there's one I really want to talk about. This one wasn't a short. They usually will play one or two feature-length films there, then the rest are shorts. There's one called The Anniversary. Now, I met these guys there last year. Their names are Colin and Joseph Neal. And-
whoa,
Not Joseph Neal. What the fuck?
Colin
I'm
and Aaron
Neal. I don't know.
Colin and
I was literally looking. I was literally
like-
Colin Aaron Neal. No,
I have
gay
no
couple
idea.
and shit.
no. I was 15 minutes with Joseph was on there. Whatever
I'm
it
gonna
was.
get Colin to ream you on Twitter.
I don't know where Joseph came. I saw Joseph on here somewhere, and I just thought of that. Anyway, Colin and Aaron Neal. I don't know where Joseph came from. What the fuck's wrong
I
with
think
me?
it's his middle name.
What?
That's probably what you saw.
Yeah,
in the-
Colin Joseph. Yeah, that's
Colin
right.
Joseph Neal.
Colin Joseph.
and
Colin
Aaron Neal.
Joseph and Neal. That's right. All right, there we go.
That sounds
Colin
like
and Aaron.
that sounds
Neal.
like a college movie waiting to happen.
It does. Well, anyway, they did a really good little horror film called The Anniversary. And it's actually, I'll say this, because I've been to a handful of film fests by this point, and usually, even like good ones, you can kind of tell, like, okay, yeah, this is definitely a couple people got together and tried to make a movie. And regardless, it's good, you can totally tell it's an independent film. This movie, though you know it's an independent film, nothing about it seems like
Cheap.
unprofessional or cheap. Everybody in it's a really good actor. The writing's really good because even the good ones, there's always that one or two actors. Like
Those actors tell you that this is an independent movie.
and this one had none of the writing was really great in it. And what it is, the first half of the movie is like a dramedy. It's like kind of a just a comedic drama, not too funny, but just funny enough. What happens is it's kind of like it sets it up for like a horror, like a
So it's kind of like Hostel.
kind of like Hostel,
More
sort
like
of.
Cabin in the Woods. Like, I know you hated
okay.
Cabin in the Woods.
Not exactly. No,
I
I'd say
hate Cabin in the Woods. I just
didn't get it, or
No, I got it, but I guess as a horror movie fan, it was just a little stereotypical. I was like,
okay.
Well, here, let me put it this way. He said it was a little bit inspired by Cabin in the Woods, but it's like it starts off pretty much. There's this one girl who it's set in the '80s, so it's also a period piece. That's cool about it.
That makes it even more difficult as an independent film.
Well, it was filmed out, I'm assuming, out in the woods of Washington, so it makes it easier. You just got
Yeah.
outfits and a couple little references here and there. But what happens is there's this girl whose husband died a year ago, and she's just been mopey for a whole year. They're coming up with the anniversary of his death, so they're like, all right, well, let's all go up. All our friends get together. We haven't heard from you in a while. Let's go up to your ex-parents-in-law's cabin. I mean, I know because they said like, oh yeah, like she got a little letter saying they said you can go ahead and use the cabin for a week. Like, oh, that was nice of them. So they're all going up there, and it's pretty much for the first half of the movie roughly. It's just kind of girls talking and hanging out, and it's actually really funny and really well written, and they're all kind of likable. At least I found them likable. And then once they get there, though, that's when shit goes down. And I don't want to say, because usually we'll talk about the whole movie. This is an independent film. They're still trying to sell it to somebody.
Yeah,
so,
it's not like you can just go see it anywhere yet.
Yeah, I'm going to buy a copy when it's available, because I totally loved it. But it actually gets to this point where there's a part where all the girl, when it becomes a horror film, it's not like a typical, like, they jump out at you. There's like one or two moments of that. But it's more of like, and it's not even so much, it's so gory. There's like one or two, gory-ish moments, but it's more of just like uncomfortable. There's a part where all the girls are tied up and like they have tape over their mouths, and someone has a camera and a gun on them, the main villain of the movie, and it's more like just the act. It's very uncomfortable. Like, oh fuck, what's gonna happen? Because everything about it seemed real. It doesn't seem kind of like overly exploitive. I mean, the girls are kind of dressed kind of trashy at the earlier point in the movie, but not to that kind of like Return of the Living Dead kind of exploitation, where just like, I want to get naked and fuck, and she starts dancing on like the.
Well, Return of the Living Dead's like a horror comedy.
Yeah, but it's nothing. But it's not
That's
like
not like exploitive. It's.
But even like movies that tried, even a lot of like 80s, a lot of 80s like slasher films will still just have that, just being exploitive for the hell of it. And this doesn't seem to do that. I mean, I guess it is to some extent because there's a lot of death and there is a lot of violence in it. But it's more of like, it presents it kind of like, I guess a good way would be Silence of the Lambs or I Saw the Devil. In that kind of way. And I really liked the film. It was really good. So.
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't really...
Well, I thought that was weird when you were looking at me when you said, oh, I like the characters.
you said that like I wasn't trying to make a point. I know you
I was just like, well, what I do?
Well, I remember you said like one or two of the characters kind of bothered you a little bit or something.
I think, but I said one or two of the characters bothered me, but I think that was the whole point. Like the whole point was to get like these write good dialogue for these characters, kind of make them unlikable, and then put them in a situation where you start to care about them. I see that as good writing, where you just like you hate the characters to start off when they're like, oh fuck me or shit like that, like they're being like all sluts, and then all the whole shit where they're tied up and have tape over their mouths. Huh?
Can't wait for them to die, like an older horror movie.
Yeah, but then like when shit's happening to them, like they're all tied up, it's like, oh shit, I didn't really want this to happen. Like I don't know. I see that as good writing and shit.
For me, I didn't actually dislike. I mean, they weren't all trying to like. I mean, one or two of them were being kind of slutty and all that, but like generally, it seemed for the most of it they were likable characters to me. I just thought they seemed like funny, likable girls for the most part. There's the one main character who's just kind of quiet the whole time because she's she's going through some shit. And she lightens up a bit, and it actually is I'll say this, the movie does a really interesting, cool thing. What it will do is, it sets you up on a track, like, oh, I know where this is going, this is going to be kind of stereotypical, and as soon as they chuck you a little bit of information at you, they just show you just enough information, like, alright, it's going to go left, oh fuck, we went right, and it kind of, you know what I mean, so it presents something, and right when you think it's going to go for that thing, it goes for something else, but it works. It's like, they give you a little bit of information, but that little bit they left out changes that whole kind of what you were expecting. So, and I really liked the movie. Yeah.
I'm not saying I didn't like the movie. I actually really, really liked the movie, but there was some other good horror films, and
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo, which was actually filmed in Modesto.
That's cool.
And it was it was like
Falling Down meets Machete.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty badass then.
And what it had
Was that a short or a full length?
It was a full length.
It was a feature. It was a feature length.
And it was probably my second favorite movie there.
Mm-hmm.
There was it was kind of like what happens is it's a Mexican history teacher, and everyone's just kind of fucking this guy over. His students, his neighbors, his boss. And this one is a little bit more tongue-in-cheek in that grindhouse kind of way, but it works for the movie. And what ends up happening, even has the grain and that kind of look to it.
Yeah.
But it still feels fairly authentic for the most part, like a grindhouse film.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that stuff anyways.
Yeah. And what ends up happening is he goes through I guess this psychological experiment where they unlock his hidden Aztec killer instincts. And the thing is, the guy's a nice guy. You root for the guy the whole time. He's just a nice, well-educated guy. Says, look, Hispanics are given a very bad name, and this time when he's trying to promote people, do the good thing, right thing. And what happens is he doesn't just go on a killing spree, just killing everybody, just all the people that fucked him over.
Yeah.
So he's going to kill the good old boys. They're going around harassing Mexican people in town. He's going to kill the gangbanger Mexican guy that always gives him shit. So he's going after his old boss.
Yeah, certain people he's going after.
Yes, it's
cool.
a really good movie. So that was really funny too.
Yeah, really funny and just kind of classic grindhouse. Cinema,
I just have that kind of 70s, 80s feel.
Yeah.
But then there's this other really cool short that I think was, I wish it won Real Scary, which is that was that block. It was the horror block. Real spelled with 2 E's, but yeah. But they had this one short. It was actually made by a 14-year-old girl. It was called Operator, and I thought it was really well made especially since she was 14.
Yeah.
It was about this girl, she's worried this kid's gonna she's worried someone's breaking in the house, so she calls 911, and it turns out that the operator is the one coming to get her. And then
Well, the way they open up with it is there's this girl, she's kind of sitting in a park, and this kid who's kind of has some kind of mental disability walks up to her. He's all I got new shoes. He's the shoes really stand out. They show the shoes a couple times. That's great. And then he keeps on following her saying that. Then she goes home.
So she thinks this guy with mental disabilities is the one that's after her, and then it turns out to be that the 911 operator is the actual killer. And then at the end, should I say? What happens?
It's a short, but what happens is
see it.
Well, the thing that happens though is it was pretty clever. Was she peeks out the window and she just sees the shoes, and for a while that's all we see is the shoes. And she's talking to this guy on the phone, the operator. So I need you to do this, I need you to do that. The whole time we just see the shoes, and we got no reason to believe anything else. So then she peeks out from under the bed. We see it's the operator with a knife, hello, scream, cut to black. All of a sudden, light comes back on.
He's stabbed, and he's stabbed, and then the guy with the mental disabilities holding a knife. He's holding a knife. He's that asshole stole my shoes, and then
goes the credits.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So I really like that one. It was one of those things watching that, knowing the films I made at 14 is I'm a fucking hack. This chick made this at 14. Jesus.
Well, how much help did she have?
I don't know. I want to say the credits were fairly short, but at the same time, it was still a good movie and all that, so I really enjoyed it.
But there's some other good ones too, like comedies, music videos, stuff like that. So
a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
Obituary Burglars, that one was really good.
By Ari Costa, yeah.
Yeah, and then Tightrope, the music video. The band's name is Walk the Moon. It's really interesting music video. So,
nice.
So yeah.
Should we jump into since we don't? Should we jump into Scribblenauts real quick? We got time for that one? You think?
We can talk about that one.
Okay.
Hey, Marley, have you ever played any of the Scribblenauts games?
I played 1 and 2, and then I played a little bit of Unlimited. And I actually saw before we started recording. I actually saw it on Ryan's desk. I'm like, "Oh, you got Scribblenauts?" And I think I brought up something dark.
Well,
dark inside.
It was Ryan told me the other day. He's like, "Oh, I just got this game." I'm like, "Oh, I just got that from GameFly. It came in Scribblenauts Unmasked." And it's really, it's well, the Scribblenauts games. My first time I was like, "That looks interesting. I wouldn't mind playing that at some point." I just never ever did play it. And then they had one that had DC, and it's like, well, it's got DC and it's got Batman in it and Superman. Got to at least look at it and play it. Can't just let that just sit there.
I guess.
Yeah, and it's one of those kind of games. I guess because it's really not that original a game. It's like one of those ones I play this game and I was like, oh, this is just Laser Shoot Larry, but for kids. That's all it really is.
Well, I don't know. I haven't played that one. I'm not sure if the dictionary is as big as like.
I think the dictionary is probably bigger than that one, and they probably just keep adding to it.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. I see it kind of creative, just kind of like.
It's creative, but I guess it's one of those ones like after playing Leisure Suit Larry games, it's like, oh well, they've been doing this. They like Leisure Suit Larry. Take the first one for example, like it's like 1985 or 86. And that game blows my mind for how many different things you can type in and stuff, and like what the events that happen to you. You're just a guy like, I'm gonna go out and get laid today, but you got all these other kind of like little mission objectives. But you go down a dark alleyway, some guy like stabs you with a knife. There's a part where you can go up to like a hooker and go like, try to fuck this hooker, but if you don't got the condom, you get AIDS and you die. If you don't tip the cabbie, he ends up killing you. Yeah. But there's all these weird things you can do to kind of talk your way through. I'm like, well, that's really what this game is. Except for this game's not necessarily talking. It's more, like. I guess it's more like
finding the right word or using having a bigger vocabulary.
And the only thing about to me is like the game feels pretty. It sounds weird for a game like this, but it feels kind of linear.
Too linear.
Because you kind of have to do the things in a sense the way that they want you to do it, or else you have to restart. Which it's a long fucking restart because you got to listen to all the dialogue again.
And I'll say this about the game: I was kind of hoping for something else, but. This game gave me blue balls, because the thing about the game was, here's what I thought the game was, and this is maybe not so fair, because it was like, I was expecting something and I got something else, so maybe that's not so much the game's fault. But the game does have some faults.
This is one I brought up before we started recording, is like, it just sounds like the game was just not marketed correctly. Like, obviously you guys like DC, so you're like, oh, DC, it's like Batman, Superman.
Well, I saw the game.
Because it's a kid's game. When it really breaks down to it, it's like you're an adult who just played fucking Batman Arkham Origins, and you're like expecting almost like, give me more DC.
Well, it was a little bit of that, but it wasn't so much. I know not to expect that. I know not to expect, like a deep, involving story. I knew the gameplay was going to be simple to an extent.
You couldn't just take like a dildo out and start smacking people with it.
Yeah, I knew I couldn't do that. I knew this wasn't Grand Theft Auto 5. I knew this wasn't
or Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Yeah. I knew this wasn't Grand Theft Auto. I know this wasn't Arkham Origins. I just said, well, it has a lot of. I know that it had a lot of DC stuff, and I'll be honest. There's like any DC character you could want to play as, or any important. They had Alberto Falcone in it.
Yeah, he's in there.
Alberto Falcone. They just characters you wouldn't expect to see in this fucking. It was they got Automatopoeia. How about that?
Well, then you got for Batman and Superman, there's like 20 different versions of them in there. You mean any version you can think of like Batman, or like I want Red Sun one, or give me like Flashpoint one, or give me
yeah.
Whatever, they got, Bob Kane Batman. They got all kinds of different stuff.
Purple Glove Batman. Yeah, they got Bob Kane
Batman Year 100 one, yeah.
Yeah, and granted, there's only little differences in the pixels, but still, the fact they acknowledge it, and some of them really stand out, and that's cool. But here's the thing here's what I thought I was going to get, and then I'll tell you what I got. I thought the way this game works...
You were just saying...
Yeah, that.
I didn't think I was going to get that, though. That's the difference.
What I thought what I was going to get was, there was like... I knew you were going to play as this Maxwell kid for a portion of the game or whatever. What I assume what would happen is you would unlock characters, or you would get more characters, and what would happen is you could eventually just kind of like... Because I saw in the ads and all that, they had a bunch of characters on screen at the exact same time. So I assumed you could reach this game where there's this main linear story where it's very fun and really silly, and then you can this kind of free range playground where you can do whatever you want. And I thought that, okay, I can make a random miscellaneous team. Let's have like Red Hood, let's have Lobo, let's have Arsenal, just this weird like Dr. Midnight, just this weird fucking team of characters, and just go do whatever. And then I realized that if you don't play as those characters, you assign those characters, and they stay with you. But what happens is the characters, they just stand there. They'll walk back and forth. But then you can go up to the character and say, follow. Or not follow, but like loyal or heroic or something. They'll start helping you out. But then what usually ends up happening is they end up getting locked and stuck on something.
Because they can't jump, really.
Or they fucking... Or
you accidentally hit them, and then they just start going fucking AWOL on you.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like... It's not exactly the smoothest thing, and I understand that it's like... I'm not expecting the smoothest thing, but I at least expect the game to know this guy's on my team because I fucking dropped them here, and I put loyal or friendly...
And he's following me, he's
helping. And he's helped me, and then plus... The game downgrades you if you use the same word too much, so you got to keep up a vocabulary. And then it's just like, after that, it's just kind of like it seems that certain parts of the missions, like, they don't exactly tie into DC. I mean, I know this isn't like, I mean, I'm not expecting hundreds and hundreds of missions here, but it seems like we're on, okay, let's go to OA, the Green Lantern world. Oh, hey, stand in line for me at this movie theater. It's just like, why don't we fucking put this in context of the universe it's set in? I mean, I know if it's Scribblenauts, I understand Scribblenauts, and
it almost sounds like they just took a lot of the missions from Scribblenauts Unlimited and just put DC characters in it.
That's what it sort of feels like. I never played a Scribblenauts game before, but
really, it's one of those
Which
kind
sounds
of games
really
where
lazy.
It's based off more like the typing in stuff. The gameplay is actually not that smooth though. That's like the one thing I noticed about the game is like it's kind of hard to do a lot of things. It's actually a frustrating game sometimes because you're just like, and it's like you got to get like the exact like handful of words typed in or else it's just not fucking working. Or sometimes the game just like. You won't be able to do anything. It'll just kind of like it's like okay I did everything and now that like you asked your like sister and she's like no help whatsoever. She just tells you to do something.
The same thing over and over.
Yeah, it's like I've already done this. Like what the fuck.
And then there'll be something like you'll go to like the main mission of that world, like help Superman defeat Metallo and Lex Luthor. It's like okay, cool. What's after that? Oh, now I just go in this world and it's randomized. You might bump into another character but it just seems kind of dumb because all right, you go to Gotham City. I bump into there's a witch in the street. There's a fucking witch. She turns me into like a ghost. So go find your body, asshole. Ha ha, fuck you. And it's just like, I understand it's a kid's game. I get that, but like, what do we
get? Ha, fuck you.
You know what I mean? You know what I fucking mean. But just let's put it in some context of just, why don't you, I mean, it sounds just kind of lazy. I mean, I'm not trying to come to someone else's house and tell them how to run their party, but it seems like, why don't you put this in context of like whatever world you're in? Why don't you like, Mad Hatter hypnotized you or something like that, and now you got. Why don't you just do it something like that rather than just?
Or Santana turned you into something because she thought you're that the doppelganger.
There you go. Yeah. Exactly.
Simple things like that.
Why don't you just put in that context? Then you have someone like, I'm playing volleyball in the sewer of Gotham. Throw me that ball. Yay! It's like.
And it seems and the missions seem like they're like really simple. I mean, like, other than the fact you got to kind of get like exactly what the game wants you to say, it just kind of like.
Well, the thing is, they at least for the other games, it's up to your creativity. Mm-hmm. So you get actually more points for the different way you solve the puzzle. Like if you give her like I'm trying to think of a good example. Like I'm playing volleyball in the streets. Mm-hmm. Give me a ball or something like that. If you give her like a spiked ball and you throw it at her, you'll probably, I don't know, it's something like that.
No, it's literally something, I don't know, like, there are times, I mean, it's in some ways the game is so simple, it's kind of frustrating, because, like, throw me the ball, it's like, I throw the ball again! It's just like, because the ball hits the fucking net, it's like, what the fuck do you want me to do,
Well, that's when I would probably type in volleyball player and give, like, I don't know, it's just like...
I didn't even think of that, okay.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of these kind of things you can't realize, like, oh, I can just... I
could type in bridge to get across this thing. I get that I'll give the game credit. There are some things in this game I will really give it credit for. Mm-hmm. But there's some things that are just, like, so kind of, like, linear about it, and just... I just think it's kind of, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to complain about not being able to play as all these different DC characters.
You can't get like those costumes where like he puts it on and he doesn't really look like Maxwell. Well, he sort of looks like Maxwell because he always has that fucking rooster head thing on.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, be like, hey, cock, come help me out or whatever, but... But they actually call him Rooster. They just,
Well, there's the one thing
that just sounds like.
I guess
it just sounds funny.
It's being older and just knowing games that have been made previously to this, where like they give you a lot more freedom of typing in things. And I go back to Leisure Suit Larry because that's really what it reminds me of. That's like, in my opinion, the original game that you could just type shit in and stuff happen. But just like. It misses the fun of Leisure Suit Larry was being able to type in the fucked up shit and then actually had somebody in there was like they made a response to this. What the fuck? That's so awesome. Where this game it's kind of like it's just like it is literally like the yay fun 5 years old.
Part of it feels like
like it's kind of like that. Like
I yelled that when I was a kid.
What's cock? What's cock?
Well, I'll say this. Here's kind of the thing. It feels like.
I will
continue to be. Oh, sorry. One second. Go ahead.
I will say that like the most fun of this game I've ever had is like at the start screen you just type in like shit and just see what comes up and like I actually typed in Cthulhu and Cthulhu actually popped up.
Oh, okay.
You can actually get Cthulhu to fight Batman probably and shit like that. And
Well, it is kind of amazing. Like sometimes it's just fun just to click like a letter or two, and then just hit enter and say like, well, what can I type in? And, like that's also what I do. I don't try to type physically things in because a lot of times when I type things in, nothing happens.
No, I'm surprised. No, I'm going to give the credit to the game for how much does get in there. And there's some things I understand. It just like come up with a smoother game mechanic. Like if you're going to have like a system where it's like a 2D thing where characters are going up to socking each other, it makes some kind of mechanic where your teammate knows the difference between you and the guy you're fighting. That's all I'm fucking saying. That's the simplest one.
That dude, it's like, well, it's like yeah, when you have teammates and stuff, it's like it's kind of hard because like the gameplay is just not built well enough. That's just like like okay, give me myself a minigun. You start shooting and it's like fuck. Now I hit my teammate and now he's just pissed. There's nothing you can do by this point because like you already typed that word in friendly once. You can't type it in again.
And of course, my teammate's Superman, so I can't fucking kill him. So it's one of those things. Like it just sort of seems kind of like to me. Like, I mean, the thing is, I always, even though I know that, I always want to use a teammate. Cause it's like, I'm gonna get my DC, but I'm gonna get my DC bang out of this fucking thing. I gotta, that's the reason I got it.
Yeah.
So I just gotta be careful with it. I'll say this: it kind of feels what this game kind of feels like to me. It feels like you go to some kid's house. He has every DC toy you've ever wanted to play with. You're like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. Like, oh, you can't because Lobo and Superman don't get along. So if you put them on the same team, even if they're allied, they start fighting. It's just like, oh, God fucking damn.
All right, I thought I was in control.
No. We're at my house. We gotta play by my rules. It feels like you're at that kid's house.
And the kid's not playing with you. He's just overseeing you.
Yeah.
he's just
sitting on top of his bunk bed, and like
arms crossed.
He's that kind of kid that has a bunk bed but doesn't have a sibling.
One of those kids.
And he always sleeps on the top.
No, he had a
sibling.
He had a sibling, but that sibling died of like leukemia or some shit.
So he got all their shit. The parents, yeah. So
that got dark.
He has a beanbag. He has a beanbag chair.
I guess what it feels like. It's almost like this game gives you a lot of stuff, and you're complaining for all the stuff it doesn't give you. But I guess when you kind of sell a game on like you could type almost anything in, you kind of expect like a little bit more, and
it's not. So
and it focuses more like it's like okay, I do agree. They do have a lot of stuff like you type in stuff you're like oh I can get a helicopter. Oh, but I can also get an attack helicopter. Yeah. Or I can get. It's not just like you type in gun and you only get one gun. It's like oh I can actually type in a lot of different types of guns and I can get these things.
Yeah.
Or so on. But I think it's just when it gets to the regular just gameplay, it's just. I don't know. It's just not the smooth. That, and I feel like it would also be a better PC game.
I think there's two things.
Well, it actually, Scribblenauts Unlimited plays much better in the PC. So.
Can you get it on PC, actually?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll say this about the game. Every single time I turn off the game, it's never like, I've played enough, I'll turn it off now. Every time I turn off the game, it's like, fuck this! Slam.
I had enough
break
of
your
fucking...
screen.
I've been careful enough not to do that yet. But every time I've turned off the game, it's not been, I've had enough, I should probably go do something else now. It's been, fuck this game. Closing it. But
it's just like when you're playing a Mario game and you close the DS, it's like, goodbye!
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck off!
Fuck off!
But that being said, though, I am going to tough it out. I am going to see where it goes because it sounds like I fucking hate it.
It's probably not much story. There's not much story in Scribblenauts games.
I don't really need. I knew that going in.
Okay.
When you got a game with that many characters in it, I know there's not going to be a whole lot of story. I knew it was going to be simplified. I just thought the mechanics of the actual gameplay would run smoother, so I'm not punching my friend or I don't kill the guy I'm trying to help by accident just because the game's not totally clear of what it wants me to do, Yeah. So it's just like come out. So it's more like I guess I can't complain about not being able to play as those characters. That's not what the game is. It looked like it was advertising that way to me, but I guess that's not what it is. It's more than anything, I guess, if they just fix the mechanics of the characters when you're playing, so you don't punch each other.
The gameplay just needs to be kind of.
And if you in the scenarios where you're helping people out in town, just instead of just some random like farmer in the middle of fucking Metropolis, why don't we make it like just something that fits the scenario of the map?
Or why don't we just make it fucking like
to give you
Superman's
that DC
dad or something like that? Like if he's a farmer, at least.
It honestly seems like that game was rushed, unmasked.
Oh fuck
yeah!
Well, it's
just
really
because all the other games
they really put a lot of effort. Like they put almost more effort into like making so you could have like 3,000 plus different characters to choose from than actually focusing on the game itself.
Yeah, because Scribblenauts Unlimited has a lot more polish, and it seems like since Warner Brothers owns them, and like they wanted to get something out with Arkham like City or Arkham whatever the new one is,
Origins.
like they wanted like something like that the Nintendo kids can play, or like something that the kids could play.
Well, Nintendo kids have a bunch of stuff. They got Batman Arkham
Something from
Origins
them,
and
yeah.
Blackgate. So.
Well, it's I don't know.
Well, I guess I'm
more like
surprised, though.
it's more like the kid friendly version of Arkham Origins in a sense. Like,
well, is it on 3DS, the Arkham Origins?
the Blackgate one is. It's a different one.
All right. Well, I think they just wanted to like cash in a little bit more. So
Yeah.
just because I hear Arkham Origins is like it's good, but it's not Rocksteady that developed it. Like
It's one of those ones. Okay, if you just include some of the glitches and whatnot, it's really just as good as the other two. It does have some glitches, and they'll probably patch that up. But if you don't have internet, you'll never know what that fucking is.
True.
I already beat the game. It's not like it's like unplayable. Like there's one guy who's like, it fucking freezes like every 30 minutes. I'm like, oh, not that much. It froze on me about like 3 or 4 times throughout the entire game. But and it's not like we live in this kind of age. It's not like back in the day where like the game freezes on you, you're like, fuck you, Majora's Mask. I haven't saved in fucking 3 fucking hours, and it's not my fucking. Fuck you, Majora's Mask. Fuck you, game.
My save cartridge is all full.
I got my.
Well, no, because Majora's Mask, the thing problem is because you can only save when you fucking restart the day.
Well, yeah.
So that whole quest, it might have taken you like 3.5 hours. Is like you're really fucking riding on that.
I just got flashbacks.
And those stupid fucking birds, they don't do anything but give you that stupid like. I hate that half-assed like, well, you can save, but the second you restart your file, yeah, that's gone. It's just like, what the fuck is that? Why would it's like, unless it's like one's like, I gotta go somewhere, it's like, those are dumb.
Yeah.
So, Mario, did you ever play Arkham Origins yet?
No, I have not played Arkham Origins, but I did play Arkham City.
Did you play Arkham Asylum?
Yes, I beat Arkham Asylum, but I was about 75% through Arkham City, and I played it for like 1 to 2 hours, and like a friend told me, oh, you're almost done with the game. I'm just like, oh, fuck this. It's so fucking short. Arkham City is so short, and even though
it was like 8 or 9 hours.
I don't know, it felt like I wasn't. I was barely playing the game.
Might as well finish your book.
What's wrong with a short game?
I don't know. It's just
there's
the
a lot of
older I get,
side quests.
Yeah, there's a lot of those things too.
Yeah.
When the older I get, I actually personally I like the
shorter
games that are 8 to 12 hours.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like to me it's like those ones like it's not like I'm done with them, but it's like in general, so I'm not always like I don't strive for that like 30-hour game. Like there's that time period where like it was like mind blowing that Resident Evil 4, Metal Gear Solid 3, it's like, man, they're fucking like your first time through, it's like 20 hours. Like, what the fuck, man? I mean, Metal Gear Solid 2, you beat in like 10 hours or whatever, and Resident Evil, 3 back, it's like they were all like, 8 to 9 hour games. Like, but now it's like, I like the 8 to 9 hour game. Like that's a perfect. To me, that's a perfect range. I like that. That's like what I like.
Yeah.
It's different if it's an RPG or something like that like I can't expect. Like, did you get Pokemon X or Y yet?
No, not yet.
You got
my 3DS is packed up in storage right now. So.
Well, you gotta pull that fucking shit out and get Pokemon X and Y. It's the most amazing game.
I heard it's like one of the better Pokemon games in the last like 10 years. It seems like.
It's the best game since the original one.
Yeah.
I want you to do the marketing campaign for that. Pokemon X and Y, pull that shit out.
Pull that shit out. Pull that shit out of storage.
It's just like, what the fuck you got that 3DS in storage? You gotta pull it out. You gotta get yourself X and Y.
Well, I kind of want to get an XL and then get X and Y just because XL looks like
The XLs are pretty sweet looking.
Yeah,
I just have the old fashioned one. I'll probably
same here.
Well, like it's like the regular DS. Like I just had the original DS. I never got the light. I never got the light that goes online.
Yeah.
I just stuck with like, well, I'll just stick it out as the old man DS guy.
I was that guy. Yeah. I had like normal Game Boy normal Game Boy Color for the longest time. You know what I mean? I never got the super special fancy one.
I didn't get I just had the Game Boy Advance for the longest time. I didn't get the SP till somebody fucking gave me one. Like I don't need this anymore.
I stole a Game Boy Color.
Tossed it over his shoulder like a used condom. You could have it.
I stole a Game Boy Color and a Game Boy Advance.
You stole one?
Yeah, I stole it with Pokemon Yellow in it.
And like from a douchebag's friend's house.
Well, no, I was just.
I like to assume this guy's a horrible evil person.
I'm just gonna assume if you.
He was
kicking puppies and stuff.
I guess I could say he's a douchebag.
Okay.
So I was just like, oh, he's not gonna use this. He's like his parents like bought him like a Game Boy Color, and he was like he brought it to school. And he's
whatever.
Like, yeah, he didn't even like use it. I'm just like I'm just gonna keep this, playing Pokemon Yellow forever.
He says I think I had a Game Boy Color. I don't know. Like I don't feel bad.
Yeah.
But no, like if you really want a game like that, Pokemon X or Y, that game will outbeat any game that's come out in the last couple of months. I fucking stand by that statement, too. That Pokemon X or Y will blow your mind.
Yeah. I'll have to check it out, so...
Speaking of, before we go into Thor, I just want to say something about Pokemon real quickly.
Do we have to go into Thor?
Why would you not want to go into Thor? What's wrong
We'll
with
find
Thor?
out. We'll
I got
find
a fucking
out.
Thor t-shirt on.
We'll go into that in just a second. I got a quick thing. I just thought this was kind of funny. It also links into Thor, too, in some way. I had this dream last night.
Oh, God.
That I was watching...
Oh, God.
Just let me say the fucking thing.
No, it's
Ryan's Dream Hour.
This is weird that I fucking have to correct you on your own dream, but you told me it the day before.
Oh, you know what I meant.
2 nights ago, yeah.
Yeah, it was 2 nights ago. Thank you. It was 2 nights ago. Anyway, Spencer,
I was fucking there in your dream.
Spencer, what did I have for breakfast? Thank you. All right. I told you that too, right? But anyway, I had this dream that I was watching Pokemon with my nephews. It's like, it's been a while since I watched the show. Let's see where it's gone. For some reason, the show was like, it's changed. It was dark and apocalyptic. It was like Road Warrior. There were like, all the gyms were like rivaling clans generally. Pokemon, like Brock, Misty, and Ash, they were all like just in their own little clan, just trying to survive. There no sunshine, no happiness, none of that. They were just all bitter. For some reason, everything else is animated. But Kat Dennings played Misty. I don't know why.
Wait, what?
Yeah. And then at some point...
Is this the dream of an animator?
I don't, maybe. And then at some point, like, Pikachu's not there. Like Ash, you've been different ever since Pikachu's left. Like, Pikachu's fucking dead! We don't talk about him!
Ash probably killed Pikachu for food.
Probably. So then what happens whenever
I
they
think
get
the
into a
other way
fight?
around. I think if it really got down to it, Pikachu would end up killing Ash for food.
Well, yeah.
Vengeance.
Because Ash would be like, I can't kill you, though I'm starving.
Pikachu bites his neck, starts shocking him.
It's like that rat from the G4 show or something like that from X-Play. You know what I'm talking about? Those skits.
Oh, yeah.
With that rat.
Ratty
He's
the
just going,
puppet. Ratty the puppet. Like,
Yeah.
damn. That thing, yeah.
Damn.
And at whenever they would get into a Pokemon fight, they wouldn't actually just like do it old school. They throw all their Pokeballs out there at once. The Pokemon would all just charge in, attack each other. And while that was going on, the humans would pull out like crowbars or like baseball bats wrapped in barbed wire and just go at each other. So
I kind of want to see this game.
like Darren Aronofsky's Pokemon, you know.
It's like no honor, no remorse.
Is this Pokemon X or Y?
No, Z.
Yeah, so that was my fun little
World
dream.
War Z.
Leaning
Pokemon Z.
Brad Pitt starts doing No, it's actually pretty good. I know how people don't like the way it sounds, but trust me. He's going to theaters trying to promote it.
Damon Lindelof is over there just doing coke.
Did he produce World War Z?
He wrote it.
Figures. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
So Marley, you saw Thor, but you saw it in 3D?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we knew because you weren't there in the 3D showing.
Yeah. Well, I get movies for free now.
Because you work there?
Yeah, we're going to
I ran into another guy at the movies and he was like, yeah, man, I just got a job here, so might as well go see the 3D one.
Yeah.
Might as well get your money out of
might
it.
as well.
Fuck, that's like getting paid an extra $3.
Yeah. 3D is pretty terrible, though.
I hate
because
I personally don't like it whatsoever. The 3D on my 3DS is better than any movie in 3D.
Well, it's because, like, the developers, I like 3D when, like, the developers or filmmakers actually, like, put it in mind. But it seemed like for Thor, like, they didn't really, like, they just did post-conversion.
Well,
and just
literally,
wanted to, like,
about
that
halfway
extra,
in
like,
Thor, I thought about it. I was like, this movie's in 3D. I don't know what really is supposed to be the 3D part of this movie. Because in most 3D movies, they always kind of have scenes that are kind of like, okay, I see why this is in 3D. It makes sense here.
They wanted that extra $3.
But yeah, well, Disney, I think it's the Disney thing. They want all those movies to be in 3D. It's like, I remember when Captain America was in 3D, it's like, that just seems fucking weird. I'm sorry, but
there's a few times he throws the shield
shield
at
at
the
the
screen,
screen.
but beyond
Yeah.
that.
I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, and I liked it. I wasn't blown away by it, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was
I thought
good.
Thor was good. I thought it was, it was probably just a tad bit better than the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But
I would say it's I would be with you. It's kind of slightly better than the first one because the first one wasn't really all that great. Although it did have some elements that I liked to it.
the first one is one of those movies, like, the first time I watched it, I remember it being like, oh, they fucking kind of ruined Thor. I mean, like, Thor was cool and Asgard was cool, but I mean, those other characters just brought down so much. And then when I went to rewatch it, I was like,
other characters being Earthrealm.
yeah, being the Earthrealm characters is just, well, not all the Earthrealm, just more like, like Kat Dennings. We can really all sum this up to one character that really brought down an entire movie for me. she literally just like was pulling, and not her fault though, but like the way she was written was just literally pulling this movie down, like from how good it could have been. And then every time I went to watch it, I was like, you know what? She says about 5 stupid things that takes up all of about like a couple minutes. The rest of the movie though is actually pretty darn good though. So I kind of came back. I was like, I actually like this movie quite a bit. It's just you minus out those couple stupid shit. And then you just kind of look at it like, okay, there's way more good than there was bad.
And that's how I feel about it, too. And the same thing with this one.
This one, too, it's like, I really thought, because in the trailer, I was like, oh, they're going to be like Asgard, like 9% of the time. Thor's only going to go back to get, like, Natalie Portman. And that's going to be like...
Which he pretty much did.
Yeah, well, but then it kept... The problem that I had, though, is it kept fucking cutting back to stupid Kat Dennings, and now her, like, dumb intern.
It was 60...
And it was literally like, there'd be something like, fucking Loki's there, like I'm dying, Thor. And it's just like the Severus like, no! Loki! Yeah. And then it's like, goes back to Kat Dennings, like, I'm a fucking idiot. Yeah. And her voice is really annoying. So she just kind of has like this bird-like voice in that movie. And she doesn't have that in other shit that I've seen her in. But she's just really obnoxious.
It was kind of like 60% Asgard, 40% Earth.
And I thought it was going to be like more like 90% Asgard / the other realms.
Yeah.
10
and then
Earth or so.
Well, they have the whole teleporting like back and forth and shit.
The final battle was
you know what they should have done though?
That
battle would have been so much cooler if they fucking had Power Man 5000 Worlds Collide playing.
Oh my god.
This movie came out in 2001.
Oh, dude, that would have been, or even like 1997. That would have made that part like.
That would have been like, well, the whole thing with that whole part was just because they barely got a chance to fight because they like one would punch one and then they fall into the wormhole. They're tumbling down a building. Another wormhole.
Are you ready to go? Yes, I'm ready to go. What you gonna do?
This is what it's like when worlds collide.
Just going through, just like all this shit just going on. That would have made that part so much cooler though.
Yeah. I don't know, like the bad guy, it's not
Malekith or whatever his name was.
Whatever his name was, but he like his motives, like he doesn't really like he was just evil just for the sake of being evil. I actually wanted to see more Loki.
His villain was.
I wanted to see more Loki.
And really? Because I feel like I've seen enough Loki by this point. That's like I'm fine. I've seen somebody else.
Yeah.
I'll say this, even though I'm kind of a little tired of Loki by this point, Tom Hiddleston did a great job in the movie.
Well, he's a really good actor. Don't get me wrong, I like him. But he's kind of like a Lex Luthor and Joker. Even though they are really good, there comes a point where it's like, let's just see somebody else for once.
Yeah, and this movie implies he's going to be the main villain of the third one now.
Yeah.
But,
of course. Or the main villain of Avengers 2. That's what I feel like this is more leading up to.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be the main villain of Avengers 2. I think they're going to hold back, hopefully, till... I think Joss Whedon literally came out and said, no, he's not going to be in Avengers 2.
Oh, okay.
I think he said that.
Well, I just assume it's like, they're going to do Iron Man 3, Thor 2, Captain America 2.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and then Avengers will come out. Avengers 2 would come out after that.
Yeah.
Before they started doing Thor 3 and so on.
Yeah. I think, I like Thor. I thought it was a good film, but like I was digging that Captain America 2 teaser right before.
That's what I'm really looking forward to.
I can't wait
Captain
for
America
Captain
one
America.
actually looks really cool. I mean, it's got Scarlett Johansson in it. There's always something that's going to bring down a movie for me, but other than that, though, it looks so fucking awesome.
I've been doing a lot of research into it, and Joe and Anthony Russo are directing it, and they mainly do like comedies, and everyone's saying, "Oh, they can't do it." I'm like, these guys. I keep on saying like these guys are really talented.
Well,
like,
sometimes
just see
people
what they
that
can
you get
do.
that do like really random genres,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it's like they're like, man, I've been fucking holding off. I got all this action in me that just has to explode all over the screen.
It's just
it's like all over the camera, all over the actors.
Oh my god!
I've been building this up forever.
Chris Evans, stay still. Don't fight it. Don't fight it.
Don't fight it.
Oh my god!
Don't fight it.
It's just like James Wan though. James Wan, like he would do.
He stood in front of like Vin
Chris
Diesel.
Evans, like,
Don't fight it.
He's like, I don't know about working on this movie though. I mean, like he would come into my room and he'd bring this boombox in and put the Rolling Stones
It's
on.
Rolling Stones, Exile on Main Street.
and play Don't Fight.
But your back is shot.
As he would just jerk off.
Feels like murder, 9th degree.
Oh my god!
The guy's balls were like the size of 2 watermelons. He said he hasn't jerked off this whole time because he's been waiting for his action movie. He's been saving it all comedy long.
Isn't that what that song's about? Ultimately, just like most angriest, most like brutal sex. Really, isn't that
That's
what
what I
it's
always
about?
assumed. Like Mick Jagger just crawling on top of you and just. Don't fight
That
it.
sounds scary. Just
Just in your ear. Don't fight it. And the rest of the band just behind him playing, looking at you, staring
that's
you
the music
down.
video.
Image we don't need.
Don't fight it.
But yeah, Captain America 2, it looks pretty sweet.
Don't fight it. That's all you can
Yeah,
say.
does.
don't fight it.
That and then the new X-Men looks really cool too.
For Days of Future
Oh
Past.
yeah, Days of Future Past looks pretty sweet too.
Really,
And-
as far as Marvel goes, the X-Men movies are my favorite series out of all of them.
RoboCop looks like garbage,
Yeah,
kind of.
That looks cool.
I don't know. It's
Are you a fan of the old RoboCops?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
and I don't like that it's PG-13.
It is. Damn it! That was the one. That was my only thing. I was like, as long as it's rated R, it should be a pretty good movie.
It's PG-13.
I can see it though. It looks like what they're doing though is this is just what I've heard, and sometimes people confuse the terms, but I heard it's not a remake; it's a reboot. They're just taking the concept and
well, they're
going
just
somewhere
cashing
else.
in on Iron Man, just because it's actually.
Well,
they,
I don't
they
know.
got
I haven't seen the original RoboCop, but
really.
yeah,
You're
but
missing
we've been
out,
through
dude.
this.
It's a Paul Verhoeven movie.
But let me tell you this though: I've not
Fucking
seen.
Drop the
Total
mic.
Recall, Starship Troopers, Basic
see it.
Instinct.
I'll see it, but I'll say this: I have not seen the original RoboCop, but I did watch the Saturday morning cartoon.
Okay.
So
There's some justice.
Okay. All right.
Do you know there's like this RoboCop like sort of like I guess it's a TV series, but it's on like it was on like HBO or something in like the 2000s. But they're really like an hour and a half long. There's like 10 of them or something like that.
really, I had no idea about
It
that.
was on the recommended for Netflix right next to Temple Holocaust. And America was like, what the fuck was this RoboCop thing? I was like, they made other movies because I was looking, I was like, it's 89 minutes long. It's a movie.
Yeah.
No.
You know, and there's like 10 or 12 of them. And
I'll check
90%
it out.
people said it pretty good. There's a couple people was like, fucking didn't like it. Like they didn't really have any reason to back it up. Just like
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Like the Newgram comments.
Yeah. Just like, you know, I was expecting like, I don't know, like robots, like fighting more or something. I don't know, there's like story and it pissed me off.
It just seems like the new RoboCop. They're just trying to cash in on Iron Man. Like they actually got like the effects
I guess
house
the-
that did like the Iron Man suit.
I guess because
And I'm like-
strange enough, even though I know you could see where the like the similarities between like Iron Man and RoboCop, it's still I never thought that whatsoever watching it. At first I was watching, I'm like, dude, they're getting close to making a Metal Gear Solid movie. Look at that, dude.
He
That's
does look like Raiden.
yeah, he looks like Ryan. There's a couple Metal Gears walking outside, like the smaller one. Like
I'll see it, but I don't think I'm gonna like it as much as the original.
I'm
well,
curious about
I don't expect that,
Yeah.
but
I think it's one of those things like, I mean, I don't want to, until I see a movie, I don't want to completely judge it. I think what the thing with it is, probably I bet the thing that pushed them for it is like, okay, we already got a brand name, and Iron Man's big right now, but I think other people working on it, probably, maybe not everybody, but some people on that movie probably want it to make it as good as they possibly can. And I
Well,
can't
yeah.
say that till I see it.
Yeah.
But every
it
once in a while
still
you
looks cool to me. Like I don't know.
I'm curious
Yeah.
about it, so every once in a while you'll see like a movie. It's like they don't give a shit about this. This is just a quick buck for them, like that Dragon Ball Evolution movie.
Oh yeah.
That's my like
It's your quick buck movie.
that's my fuck that movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
Legend of Chun-Li.
Legend of Shang-Li's bullshit too. Yeah, they didn't give a fuck for that either. So yeah,
But back to Thor. Really, I think what would make a really good Thor movie though is if Thor and his buddies were just the main focus of the story, and just whoever they're
Warriors
fighting.
the Warriors 3, Thor, and Sif.
Yeah,
And have Zack Snyder direct it. I think.
That would be pretty
That-
awesome.
I might
personally,
actually- I
I'm
can
a really
see
big
that.
fan of Zack Snyder. Like, as far as like, I think my two favorite like newest directors, as in like last 10 years directors, and not including people that like worked their way up through to that time. But it's like Edgar Wright and Zack Snyder. I think those are the two best directors of like the 2000s.
Edgar Wright's definitely one of my favorites. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like those guys a lot.
And I think
I'm
Zack
kind of
Snyder-
kicking myself because I haven't seen The World's End yet. But
Oh, that one you
Yeah.
gotta see.
yeah.
yeah.
But-
That and like Man of Steel. I
Just
think I like
buy it when it comes out on
Is
Blu-ray.
it on Redbox right now?
No, but when it comes
it's
out,
only been, it was only out like a month and a half ago. I
Oh,
think.
really?
when it comes out though, just buy it.
Okay.
It's that good.
All right.
It's
cool.
probably one of my favorite movies of the
It's
year.
just as good as Shaun. Well, even though I've only seen it like once, but it's just as good as Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz.
Yeah. Wasn't part of like the Blood and Ice Cream trilogy or whatever?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the one that's apparently going to
So-
end it.
Yeah. Well, I might as well buy it just because I have the other
It's
two.
one of these ones. It's like you won't regret buying it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes kind of ones like, well, if you didn't pay your money at the theaters, at least you can pay your money on the Blu-ray or
Yeah.
what have you.
The $30.
No, I love that movie.
$20 mostly.
Yeah.
That was my favorite movie of the summer.
Mhm.
This is the end. I mean, not that was good, but
Well, this is the
World's
end. It's still pretty good.
World's End. I meant World's End, but this
Yeah.
is the end was still a really
It
good.
was pretty
movie.
close.
There's a lot of
I
end
think I like
movies.
Man of Steel and Pain and Gain more, but
Man of Steel was really good, and Pain. Both those films were great. I thought.
Pain and Gain. I love that one. Did you see Pain and Gain?
No.
Oh, you got to see it.
Still to go to Redbox and check
Yeah,
it
you
out.
can go
so-
because it came out a couple months ago. It seems
Yeah.
like.
I don't know, I'm trying to think of like my best movie this summer. Like, would you
No,
consider
that's
Gravity?
The year.
Well, Gravity. I think
Gravity was really good.
Gravity. Ryan and I saw that about a couple days ago.
That was one of the movies I wanted to see it because I was like, it was the one movie. It didn't jump on me like I gotta go see this, but it was one of the ones I wanted to see it.
Yeah.
But every week there was something that came out that was just a little bit better. That is like, well, Machete comes out, or well, The Counselor and Bad Grandpa comes out this week, or well, something else came out too.
Gravity was really good.
Thor came out.
I'll say this about Gravity. It's the only time I saw a movie in 3D, and the 3D did not bother me at all.
Strange enough, the best movie I've ever seen in 3D was Resident Evil, like the last 4 and 5. Those movies just looked like, in a sense, because they were made like shooting in 3D. It was like it was made for 3D. It wasn't just kind of like half-assed.
And this wasn't like, it didn't feel like it was being
Or
gimmicky
you know what?
about
Actually,
it.
I have to say, it's really Pacific Rim was really good in 3D. Actually,
Oh, you saw it in 3D or?
we did because for some reason they had like one showing in 2D. It was like such an obscure time, so we're like, fuck it, let's just go see the 3D one.
Yeah.
And that one, I will say, like it worked. I mean, I would still probably say the 2D version is probably better, but that movie actually felt worked.
It seems like the special effects, like heavy, like movies, like they always look better in 3D, just because
Well, in
you're
a sense, I think
rendering.
movies,
Like
the more movies,
Except
the more
Thor, apparently.
CG
well,
a
yeah,
movie is.
well, because Thor was post conversion.
Yeah.
Like the. Like
Well, I
said,
think the thing too is the more CG a movie is, the better the 3D is going to look. So like, if the movie is filled with like Pacific Rim, which is pretty much like it's got a couple actors in it, and then the rest of it's like a giant cartoon.
Yeah.
I think that works really well. Where Thor, even though there's like it's more like the backgrounds and stuff are CG, but it's still filled with a lot more live action characters.
Yeah.
You know?
And a lot of the special effects heavy shots in Thor actually like they popped a lot more, or they had more depth. But then when you're back on Earth, it's just like, oh, this looks really blurry and shitty. It's like,
Yeah, that's what a lot of it feels. Or like it'll have that whenever there's like a big like battle scene going on, it gets kind of blurry all of a sudden because the 3D's not.
Because the only thing about 3D though is it looks fine if the pictures are always still. But other than that though, that's it.
Yeah.
If the picture's not still, then you're fucked. If you're just watching a slideshow of somebody's vacation, it'd probably look good in 3D.
Yeah.
It sounds weird, but that would probably look perfect.
That's like the
technology for
future.
that by
That's
this
like the
point.
future. It's like, look, Mom, this is where I went on vacation.
Well, it's kind of like when you pull your 3D,
Whoa,
when you pull your
right?
3DS out, and you flip it on for a second, you're like, that looks cool. You flip it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a Pokemon, you flip it on the battle, like that looks kind of cool. Flip it off.
Well, even when you play on your 3DS, it looks kind of like you're looking into a diorama, sort of, rather than
Yeah.
having it come at your face.
Yeah, it's more like it goes back.
I knew,
You
to
yeah.
use different, different.
Like,
like, yeah.
Don't fight it!
Don't fight it.
It's Pikachu singing the song.
just over Ash. Don't fight it.
But going back to Gravity was really
He's
good.
just jerking off so hard he fucking grabs a thunderstone. It's like ah!
Oh my god.
He's like ah, evolving. It's so good when you're evolving.
Oh my god.
It's only gonna happen once!
It's the best thing. I mean, fuck Charizard. He gotta do it 3 times or twice. Fucking
my
2
God.
evolution, motherfucker.
His wad is just a giant, like, lightning bolt.
Oh my god.
Kills Ash. Oh, fuck!
Don't fight it.
And then all of a sudden, like, turns to Charizard. We gotta hide the body. It's like, what? But we gotta hide the fucking body!
Whoa, I didn't sign up for this.
Don't be a fucking pussy, Charizard. This is all like in subtitles.
Oh my god.
It's a Pokemon movie I want to see.
Big. Or actually be Raichu now. Right. Choo!
Oh my god.
Charizard's the one all pussing out. Like, I don't want him, man. I don't want him.
Yeah.
These adult Pokemon movies are fucking weird now. All it is just this really like offensive shit, but it's all like subtitle.
With Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But Fast 6, I think that's my favorite movie this summer.
I would say that's in my top 5. I
Yeah.
like Fast 6 a lot.
I really enjoyed
But actually,
it.
you know what? The movie's
or
actually in there.
Furious 6 or whatever it's called. But the
it's-
title card was like
Fast and Furious 6.
it was,
I think
it was Fast and Furious 6, and then everyone was
just-
calling it Fast 6, but the title card before the movie
Furious
said
6.
Furious 6,
That's
which
like
I
a
kind
kung
of
fu
dig,
film.
Yeah.
just because it.
Actually, the movie I probably like a little bit more than that though was I like The Last Stand Alone from Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That was a good one.
I don't think I saw that one.
That came out right in January.
Yeah.
So sometimes those movies always get kind of like
They
pushed
get
back. Like, they
forgot.
must feel like they're 2012.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh no, it actually was.
Yeah.
Well, this looks like a good place to leave off at. Make sure to check out oldmanorange.com for all kinds of free, funny stuff.
Give us 4 stars at iTunes.
5 stars.
5 stars.
Give us-
I haven't been there in a while. 5
maybe
stars.
Give us 4 stars. You know, we're not that good.
We're aware. Give us 5 stars at iTunes.
We're kind of shitty. I don't know. Were you pointing at me to promote my?
I thought
shit?
you wanted to say something.
I'm not really doing a lot of all that much.
Don't fucking look at
What?
that shit, then.
You can follow
That's
me.
old news.
You can follow me on Twitter at @msilverbrand. I kind of tweet some shit, I guess. And then I have a website. It's silverdomeproductions.weebly.com. You can find everything there.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
So I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan Dunigan.
I'm Marley Silverbrand.
We'll see you some other time.
Bye.
Goodbye.